I am on month 2 of being on testosterone, come on! Hi folks, and welcome to this episode of the Tea Party where I tell you all about my experiences of being on testosterone for 2 months. As with my month 1 video, which if you haven't watched yet, you can watch here, I'm going to be separating this video out into the individual weeks of month 2. I'm going to pretty much summarise everything that I've been experiencing and any changes that I've seen. So let's just jump right in. So straight after my shot, I immediately kind of just felt more energetic, which could have been a complete placebo effect. But at the end of month 1, I was just feeling so tired, and I was just genuinely so grateful that right after the shot, I had this surge of energy which just started to make me feel like me again. Pretty much straight after the shot, myself and my girlfriend Frankie were really lucky to go up to Keswick Mountain Festival where we did a joint talk together. That was a great weekend, and having the energy return and feel like I could be myself again was just perfect timing. I met up with some really great friends, and it was just a really lovely weekend to feel like that again. But I do have to mention that the drive up there was so sore on my butt. For the next couple of days after my jab, my left butt cheek was so sore, and just sitting on it on the drive up there was just painful, but totally worth it. So that leads me into the first week of my 2nd month of being on testosterone. A super interesting bit of feedback that I had from a very dear friend of mine called Annie and my girlfriend. They both said on separate occasions that I've been swearing more, and I genuinely hadn't even noticed. I don't really know what that means. Am I becoming more aggressive? I don't think so, but my language is changing, and that was some really unexpected feedback. In terms of more regular changes that I'd been looking out for, my vocal cords were feeling different that week. They definitely felt more hoarse and more scratchy. And if I tried to hit a higher note, for example, if I was singing or if I was just talking more loudly, then I felt as if my voice would quite regularly break, or it would sort of just trail off into this whisper, which was really weird. It was almost as if I was losing my voice, which my co-host of my podcast Transatlantic, Ryan, told me was also happening to him, that at times he just felt like he was losing his voice, and I definitely felt that in my first week as well. Straight after Keswick Mountain Festival, me and Frankie went off to this really lovely cottage in Ulverston that had a hot tub. We were there to celebrate her birthday, and I've been getting braver with being out topless, particularly with wild swimming and stuff, just being out with just tape on my chest and wearing swimming shorts. And the hot tub was kind of the perfect opportunity also to do that. But I have to admit that I was still nervous when I was walking to and from the house in the hot tub with nothing on my top half, swimming shorts on the bottom half, and there was a field that was adjacent to the hot tub, and every now and then there would be someone on one of those motorised lawnmowers that would just drive past us as we were in the hot tub. But for all the nervousness of that 10 seconds of walking between the house and the hot tub, it just felt so euphoric to be in the hot tub without having to wear something on my top half, or even worse, be in a bikini. It just felt really right, and I just can't wait for that feeling to just increase and increase as my chest reduces, and I might get top surgery, I don't know yet, but just to feel comfortable enough in my chest to be able to be in public and be outside and swim topless without having to tape. So moving into week 2, I felt like my voice continued to change, and there was just a bassiness that seemed to linger all day. So I wouldn't just have like a deeper morning voice, and then as the day goes on it would get higher. I just felt like my voice was sitting in a different place. So I recorded a video of myself at one point on a particularly good day where I just treated myself to some new boxers. Shout out to Sainsbury's for these really colourful numbers. And I was just feeling euphoric and more comfortable and confident. So here's the video. Strangely, I'm having a very confident day today. My voice feels really different. Feels like it's sitting more here, much lower down. And I'm walking around in like a small t-shirt, which I wouldn't usually do. I'd usually walk around in a medium at least, because it's a bit baggier. But today, I don't mind. It's actually hot. Other changes in that second week were that my sex drive was still super high from month 1, but I also became moody AF, like just super easy to trigger, and as if I just wanted to be left alone by myself a bit more. And the moodiness kind of lingered into the third week. My poor girlfriend. I just became more reclusive, more monosyllabic in my responses, not wanting to be too touchy-feely, even though my sex drive was quite high. That was a weird conflict of feelings. But my girlfriend also told me that she started to notice that the hair on my upper lip was starting to seem as if it was darkening. And I didn't want to get too excited, so I think I kind of shut that feedback down, which I shouldn't have. I should have celebrated with her about it, but yeah, I just was a bit like, oh, I don't think so. And I kind of just started to become a bit obsessed with looking at it in the mirror. Every morning I'd wake up and look at it and be like, is it getting darker? And I'd step back and be like, can I see it from further away? I don't know, when you see yourself every day, it's really hard to keep track of these changes. So I've been taking some photographs, but what I should just do is just celebrate. If someone else has noticed it, whose opinion I trust, then it's probably happening. I've also begun to sweat more, way more. And here is now a disgusting story for you. I was at the barber's and I was getting my hair cut, and it was a pretty warm day, but not uncomfortably hot. You know, we've been having some heat waves lately, but it wasn't anything like that. It was just a warmer day. And pre-tea, I would have maybe gotten a bit clammy, a bit warm, but probably wouldn't have sweated through my top. This time, after the 30-40 minutes of the haircut, I remember towards the end just feeling this sensation of something on my upper arm. And so I went to touch it and there was just water. And I realised that I'd been sweating so much that I just had lines of sweat just running down my upper arm. And I started to get really worried about when I stood up from the chair, whether I'd just have this huge wet patch on my back. And I don't know, I didn't really leave it very long for me to get out the chair and just put my jacket on. Even though I was super hot, I put my jacket on because I was just super embarrassed at this idea of just wearing this like soaking, soggy top. And then when I asked Tea Giver about it, who is the person who gives me my shots, they responded by telling me that they also sweat more from being on testosterone, and previous to being on T, they thought that boys were maybe just a bit disgusting, like they're just maybe a bit unhygienic and just maybe didn't clean enough. But yeah, turns out everything you hear about sweating more on testosterone is totally true, and the effects have already started kicking in month 2 for me. And then finally, this brings me on to the 4th week of being on testosterone, and man, this was a riot because I ended up getting COVID in this week. And previous to this, I actually started to have concerns that maybe I was doing the test wrong, because I was just always testing negative, and I'd been in certain situations where I was like, if I don't get COVID, this is nothing short of a miracle. Turns out I've been doing the test totally right and actually had just managed to evade getting COVID. I got it in this 4th week and it just knocked me sideways. But the worst thing about it was that I'd actually planned to have my testosterone shot in that week. And so obviously I had to reschedule it. And it was just gutting when I came to the day when I was meant to get my shot on the Thursday. I was actually really upset. Like, I've come to realise that I kind of view testosterone as kind of this magical serum. And every month when I get my shot, I just get closer and closer to being the person that I've always wanted to be. And so not being able to have it in that week, yeah, it really rocked me, and as soon as I could get it, I did. But then also with COVID, I really wasn't noticing any other changes because I was pretty much just laden up in bed. But into week 5, I finally managed to get my shot, and it was just such a relief. Much like when I got my 3rd shot at the start of month 2, there was almost kind of like this surge in energy and emotions, and yeah, I just felt happier and calmer, more resolved, more settled, more solid, because I'd had my shot. And I think it just really has instilled into me just how important these shots are. They are life-changing. There is no other way to put it. And now, as I sit here making this vlog, I'm into month 3 of being on tea, which rhymes. So of course, I'll be back in the next instalment of the tea party to tell you all about the changes that I've been experiencing in this 3rd month. Until then, remember that sometimes you have to be brave and sometimes you have to be kind. I'll see you in the next video.